House Concurrent Resolution 6006, Representative Elward moved that House Concurrent Resolution 6006, as found on page 257 of the House Journal, be adopted.
That motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion on the motion, Representative Aylward? Try it now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the State House. What you have before you, HCR 6006. Last year, I brought a bill that was called Defend the Guard. And the goal of the bill was to tell the U.S. Congress that they needed to follow their oath to the U.S. Constitution and actually take a vote to declare war if they wanted to use the South Dakota National Guard soldiers. That bill was carried in over 30 states last year, and even more this year, and I pray that it gains more traction as the years come along. This year, after talking to the South Dakota Adjutant General, I've decided to take a little different route and promote a resolution instead. And instead of focusing solely on the National Guard of the state here, I figured why not focus on the whole military. The resolution you have before you simply asks the elected people in the federal government to follow their oath to the Constitution when pursuing war, to consult the just war theory when contemplating any foreign intervention, and to bring troops home who are still in conflict overseas with no end date in sight. I see this issue being constitutional, pro-life, economic, and pro-family. As you can see pointed out in the resolution, the United States hasn't constitutionally declared war since World War II. Post 9/11 wars alone have carried a heavy price, including more than 7,000 service members lost in war operations, over 30,000 service members and veteran suicides, over 53,000 wounded, an estimated 1.1 million veterans who have deployed service-connected disabilities, and over $8 trillion spent. And based on 2021 polling, 68% of American veterans supported bringing our troops home from Afghanistan, and over 50% of veterans and the general population think we should be less militarily engaged around the world. That's the reason for this resolution. This resolution is filled with some great quotes from the founding generation, but I'll leave you with this one from the great General George Washington, whose birthday was yesterday. Overgrown military establishments are, under any form of government, inauspicious to liberty and are to be regarded as particularly hostile to Republican liberty. I often wonder what he would think today. Please vote green on the resolution today. Thank you.
Further remarks regarding HCR 6006? Further remarks? Representative Marty.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd stand and encourage you to vote for this resolution, because we've had a lot of undeclared wars, and I've seen what has happened to our undeclared wars, our conflicts that we send our young men and women into. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I've experienced some of the horrors of war, not as bad as a lot of my fellow infantrymen, but the first day on the job in Vietnam, I picked up body parts of two guys that I did not know. And I wear these dog tags today in all session to honor those two guys that I never knew. I held a part of a rib on my bayonet as we were picking up the body parts. And they didn't have a chance to have a family. They didn't have a chance to have the young people have sons and daughters. So I just encourage us to vote green on this, and I thank you for listening. Thanks.
Thank you. Further remarks? Representative Goodwin.
Yeah, to back up our last Vietnam veteran who was a Purple Heart winner. Purple Heart means you had to be wounded in combat. It wasn't something to take lightly, and being an infantryman like the good representative just talked about. I guess the last time we declared war was in World War II, and that war we went and won. I don't know if we've won any since, been all conflicts, police actions. And so this is just saying that if they're going to send our treasure of our young men and women off to combat, that they should declare war first, and we should be all in to end it as soon as possible. So I concur with this.
Further remarks? Hearing no further remarks, the question for the body is Representative Aylward's motion that HCR 6006 be adopted. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk, please unlock the voting machine. Will the members proceed to vote? Representative Duba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think it's only appropriate right now that we recognize right above the clock our American Legion and American Legion Auxiliary. So please stand. I want to tell a little bit about all of you. Commander Gary Wokow and from the American Legion and our Legion Auxiliary President Mary Jo Stile are both here, as well as our Boys State Governor Joseph Giebel from Mitchell, South Dakota. He was actually a page, I believe, in the Senate 2 weeks ago. And then our Girl State Governor from my own District 15, Auburn Brenner. And we want to welcome all of you. Please stand, everyone. Let's give them a round of applause.
Welcome. Gosh votes aye.
Gosh votes aye.
Representative Gross.
Personal privilege?
Granted.
Thank you. Fellow members of the House, please join me in welcoming young people and some of their leaders from the Country View Christian School just out of Flanders, not too far from me. They're a private Christian school associated with the Mennonite Church. They only get to appear once every 3 years. So please welcome them, make it a special visit for them.
Welcome.
Representative Fitzgerald. Representative Ernie Otten.
No.
Otten votes no. Mr. Speaker, all members have voted.
Please display the vote.
Mr. Speaker, there were ayes 65, nays 2, excused 3.
So the motion having received an affirmative vote of the majority of the members elect, the Speaker declares the motion carried in HCR 6006 as adopted.